couple of miscellaneous college football things in our spotlight. Ryan Field, the new stadium there, the new Ryan Field at Northwestern won't open on opening night. They will open it, it looks like October 2nd against Penn State, their new beautiful on-campus stadium. They're going to open that, it looks like, on October 2nd against Penn State.
I was trying to remember. Yeah, they played. I saw somebody talk about it because they play South Dakota State at home. And that's one of the, again, when you're scheduling FCS, if it says Dakota in the name, just don't take your chances. I never can remember all the ones that are good, but the ones that have Dakota, South Dakota State's one of the good ones.
Yep.
And there were a lot of people like, that'll be a tough game for Northwestern. And if you're going to open your stadium and lose to an FCS team right off the bat, it's bad timing. So they're going to avoid that at least.
The LA Bowl is done, played at SoFi Stadium for 5 years, started in 2021. The Mountain West Conference champion played in it 4 of the 5 years, sometimes against the Pac-12 team. Now the Mountain West has been diluted, and the Pac-12 has had a rebirth, but diluted from what it used to be. And if you look at bowl tie-ins, the new Mountain West and the new Pac-12 don't have a lot of tie-ins. They tried to start a bowl game in Denver, but the funding for that fell apart and didn't have ESPN backing. So the LA Bowl is gone. It's hard to believe that we're going to play all these bowl games, and one of them is not going to be in SoFi Stadium, maybe the best stadium we have in the country.
Do they even have a national championship game coming up?
They got the Super Bowl next year.
Yeah, I got Super Bowl.
I don't think they've got one on the docket. So, and UCLA's not going to play there. So, I mean,
they're trying to, but
but the Rose Bowl stepped in. I think there was going to be a lawsuit there. I don't think UCLA
How do you
would have
guys think Vegas will pull off college football national championship?
I think they'll be fine. I think it'll have a marijuana scented New Orleans to it.
You know, Vegas is really interesting for a place that when you look at the Strip, you're like, oh, you can walk everywhere, and you can, but it takes absolutely forever.
Yeah, it really
does. I've stayed at New York, and walked all the way down. What's the really cheaper place that looks like a castle? Excalibur. So I've walked from New York to Excalibur and back on a trip a couple of times, and that's almost end of Strip to the end of Strip.
If you guys remember the last
time, I think
time,
I would have walked past where the stadium is.
Yeah,
at that point.
Last time we were there, we ate dinner at the Aria, at the steakhouse at the Aria, and I walked back to where we were at Resorts World, which is end of the Strip and off the Strip a block.
Yeah,
that was a haul. Like I badly misjudged that.
But it's the same way from walking where we stayed for LSU Alabama, the warehouse district.
Yeah, by the Civic Center, yeah.
All the way to the Superdome, which I did twice that week, too.
It just seems more intimate in New Orleans, and I saw some discussion on social media. A lot of people were like, should always be in New Orleans because it's so centrally located, and a lot of people are like, absolutely not, talking about the Super Bowl.
I want it there.
I think I will check the Rose Bowl box before I do in New Orleans every year.
Seriously?
Yeah, I think I'm with Jim.
I'd like to be able to drive to it.
I would much rather do New Orleans than the Rose Bowl.
So, but your upcoming are Allegiant Stadium in Vegas, which is this coming season, the Superdome in New Orleans, which is the end of the 27 season, so the game will be in early 28. And then Raymond James and Tampa. Those are the only ones that are scheduled moving forward.
Yeah, that's the one I don't understand when we play that and Super Bowls there.
Yeah, what is the draw to Tampa?
Yeah, it's not really coastal. I mean, it's bi-coastal. I mean, it's
I'm a little surprised that Orlando has not come
curious.
But if Orlando came out with some kind of badass stadium, they could host events, right?
Oh, yeah, because of Disney.
Because of Disney, absolutely.
Yeah. And for those that did not go to the Alabama-Clemson game or you've never been to a game in Tampa, that stadium ain't close to town. I mean, it was a pretty good haul out of town, wasn't it?
It's across the street from the Yankees.
Yeah. And it's
Steinbrenner Stadium.
And it's on the same plot of land where the Sombrero was. It's just, they built it while the Sombrero was still open. It's not, I don't remember it being all that close to town. I remember it kind of being out of town.
I'm a Buccaneers fan. It's a newer stadium. I think it's a dump. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I mean, it reminds me a lot of the one we played in yesterday, Santa Clara. There just wasn't a lot of frills to it.
No, the Santa Clara situation, that's the one I don't understand why we ever did a college game out there and why they keep putting the Super Bowl there.
Yep. But they do.
They do. There's some appeal to being at San Francisco, but you're not even in San Francisco. You're an hour south of San Francisco.
Yeah.
Which is.
But remember, for that same reason, we played it in Palo Alto once or at least once, if not twice.
Which actually was closer to San Francisco, not by much, but is a little bit closer to San Francisco than Santa Clara is. They used to play in weird places. They played it in the Rose Bowl once and played it in the Rice Stadium in Houston once.
And I'm going to tell you two things to keep an eye on if you're a college football fan, since we're 201 days away from week 0. So this will happen over the next couple of months, and you will how can I say this? You will be upset about this on the first one, and some of you will have an opinion about the second
So
one.
this is in college football. So this is coming over the next couple of months.
Jersey patch announcement for your school, I expect to happen in the next couple of months. That is, it's legal now. Even Ohio State's going to do it, and they made over $300 million this past year.
Do you know yet who they're
Ross
doing?
Bjork says, we are looking for the right partner. We want it to blend into our uniform to where the Big Ten and the Nike swoosh and the Big Ten patch, to where it doesn't look basically gaudy. He didn't say the word gaudy, but he wants it to be a good partner that blends into our uniform.
I mean, Buckeye's almost a weed symbol anyway, almost marijuana, right? Like if you got a dispensary, I don't know some of the big dispensaries out there, and NCAA might frown on that, but
I'm going to go Nationwide Insurance for them. I'm just looking at Fortune 500 companies based in
Columbus,
Ohio, and I think Nationwide is, in fact, in Columbus. And Nationwide is one of them. Yeah, it's based in Columbus. And I think they are the naming rights of their basketball arena, maybe?
Maybe.
Am I right about that?
can Kalshi get in the game here? It's legal.
It's legal.
Yeah. I'm just saying that Ohio State is going to do it, and they made over $300 million, a record last year for Ohio State. So they're not hurting for money, and they're going to do it. So you know that the other schools, a lot of SEC schools, are going to do it. LSU was trying to do it last year.
It's too valuable to say no to.
Too valuable to say no to.
I mean, I really think this is the most valuable. It's more valuable than a spot on the field. It's more valuable than the naming rights to the stadium.
It's in every picture.
It's in every single photo and every single video shot, win, lose, or draw.
Every replay.
Yep, every replay. That's the most valuable thing they can sell right now.
And then we're about to get to contract extension announcement time. We got one over the weekend. Arizona extends Brent Brennan. If you didn't know that, he's the Arizona head coach, through 2030, 9 wins last year. So he's got a contract extension there, kept both coordinators. I believe at some point, I don't have any facts to back this up, I believe at some point we will get an announcement on a Kalen DeBoer extension. Do you think that's already been done?
So
or
you think he leveraged the Penn State opening and the
I'm not saying
Michigan
he
opening?
did.
Or is Jimmy Sexton did?
Jimmy Sexton did. I mean, he had Alabama in the playoffs. They won a playoff game.
Yep.
He deserves an extension.
Oh, look, it was, do I want to say much better? It was definitely better in year 2.
Yeah.
Deserves an extension. Let's
I don't know about that.
I'd like to hear more on that. Sell me on that one.
I mean, based on the fact that everybody else gets one, yeah. But, like, I think we give extensions. It's too easy to get an
I'll
extension
be Greg
today.
Byrne, you be Jimmy Sexton, and you've just
Well,
told me my guy deserves an extension.
I'm
Explain.
not going to role play with you here, but I will say this:
I kind of wanted you to role play.
that when like Brent Brennan gets an extension at Arizona for 9 wins through 2030, it doesn't say he got a raise.
That's true.
It said he got an extension. Okay, so Kalen DeBoer's salary may not change. You just stack 2 years back to the existing contract, or maybe he gets a little bit more money.
But the way these things are structured, that also increases the buyout again.
It does.
The buyout has
It
been
does.
whittled down some, and now you've increased it again. Like,
I'll ask you, did you want, if you're an Alabama fan, would you have been happy if Kalen DeBoer had taken that Michigan job after that Oklahoma win?
It's a complicated question. After the Oklahoma win, no. But I think, when the Penn State stuff came up and then when the Michigan stuff came up, there were some Alabama fans that were like, this hasn't been what I thought it would be. But then I think on the other hand, you're like, boy, the one thing I don't want to do is get back in the carousel again.
Oh, I think it was probably 50-50 if you could tell me who Alabama was going to get.
But that was the problem.
Yeah.
I think 50-50, but the 50 that were off DeBoer were like, a lot of them were like, I may be off DeBoer, but I don't want back on the carousel. Because you don't know what you're going to get on the other side.
Well, nobody was off DeBoer when the Penn State thing opened up because that was all in the middle of beating 4 ranked teams in a row.
That's right.
And this thing is rolling. We're number 4 in the country.
That came out the week of Alabama-Tennessee, so that was a long, long time
Now,
ago.
I will make the point with Greg Byrne in Alabama, and this is easy to forget. he was accomplished, and the fans were not down on him at all. But the Nate Oates extension came right after they got drilled by Florida in the Southeastern Conference basketball tournament and were limping into the NCAA basketball tournament. And then they made the Final Four run, and Greg Byrne looked like a genius. Now, then Kentucky came open, and Byrne had to reopen, some negotiation.
But still, the approval rating with Nate Oates is 100%.
Yeah, it was different. I'm just saying.
I would even say this, and I don't know if you agree. If you go back in season, back before Lane Kiffin completely barbecued his, his
relationship with Ole Miss.
His departure from Ole Miss, I think more than half of Alabama fans, or at least 50-50, would have said, hey, we'll give you DeBoer for Lane Kiffin.
Oh, yeah, Kiffin would have not.
Which is ridiculous.
He would not have been universally accepted, but there were a lot of people that would have liked that.
So it's extension season. It's extension season now when some of these have been worked out for weeks or maybe even months end up getting announced over the next couple of weeks because we're just in that down period. Wouldn't surprise me if we get a DeBoer extension announcement at some point.
Can I make the point, though, that maybe it is an extension, but if it's an extension with the way it's worded is, Alabama and Kalen DeBoer have reached an agreement on a contract extension. Coach DeBoer's contract has 2 years added to it, and there's a greater commitment to NIL, because I think that's one thing Nate Oates did when the Kentucky job came open. He had already gotten his extension. I think he got some other things, not money for him. I think that's kind of your new extension is I'm making a lot of money. I can win more games instead of me getting $2 more million if I get $2 more million in the NIL. And I think fans can stomach that a little bit more. They're like, all right, maybe I haven't 100% approved of the guy, but more NIL could mean more wins.
So that's a look at some of the tidbits going on in college football.